First AMA for 2022.
Yeah, exciting. Got the usual suspects in the crowd. So no Aaron today. He's not in a place where he has sufficient coverage to jump on. So we've got Hal though, waiting in the wings.
Yo.
So any engineering questions anybody wants to get out today? It's a good opportunity.
Look at all these
Also,
lovely people in the crowd.
I know.
Woo.
Also, it means that I don't know how you guys are going to get any alpha out of us. As you know, I'm a steel trap, and it's usually Aaron that's the leaky one. So
Always Aaron.
always Aaron. Steel trap.
Shots fired. I feel like this is one of our biggest audiences yet, guys.
Yeah.
Or new faces, perhaps. Do you want to do a little New Year intro maybe before we start, David?
Yeah. So happy New Year to everyone, and I hope everybody had a good holiday break. For those who celebrated the holidays, and for those who didn't celebrate the holidays, I hope it was okay.
Okay. Nice. Need
Yep.
a coffee.
So we ended the year in a pretty big way last year, and we're kicking off this year in a pretty big way as well. We've got some imminent things on the horizon that I'm super excited to get into over the next few weeks with you guys that we've been working on for quite a while now. I can't express how excited I am about the next two massive announcements, and I think you should expect those to be in the next sort of two weeks time frame.
Stop it, David.
I know. We have kind of hinted towards some stuff, but those have been sort of following little tidbits that I've been putting in the settled world might be catching on to a couple of them. So, but it'll all become clear in a couple of weeks. We want to, with these particular ones, because of the scale of them, we want to make sure the comms plan around it is really solid, and we get all the information out and get everybody across it in the right sort of way, which is really cool.
Before David leaks too much, though, I think we need to do a special shout out to the alpha drop that was the 11th hour podcast, which was insane. Snoop Dogg in the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's pretty massive. It's pretty good. I think ours are bigger, but it's not up to me to judge.
He's joking.
I don't know.
No, he's not joking.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
He's not joking.
But that's not up to me to judge. I just wanted to formally congratulate and welcome Suda and Dan to the team, to the community team. You guys have been doing such an awesome job, especially over the holidays, allowing the team who were sort of kind of in crunch mode before the holidays hit, getting the unboxing out and getting all that engineering work done to kind of relax a little bit, and you sort of really took the pressure off there, which was awesome. So thanks, guys, and welcome to the Altered State Machine.
Yeah, welcome.
Well
awesome to have you
done.
guys aboard.
And congratulations, Lenny, as well, on the promotion.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Boss moves.
Boss moves. All right, let's kick into it, I guess.
Yeah, also just a reminder, there's a thread in the Ask Us Anything channel if you want to put your question in text, if you're a little shy and don't want to jump up on stage. Otherwise, let's get our hands up. I've invited the first person to speak. Hey, Cryptic.
Hi, everyone. Happy weekend.
Thank you.
So I have a lot of ASM players, and I have yet to configure any of them because I'm just sort of freaked out at this point of locking anyone into any sort of configuration. And I guess my question is, I mean, should I be hesitant at this point of locking in the configurations? Like, I just feel like I don't want to do it until I have more information about, like what the different attributes might mean. But I also know that your guys' style is to not really put everything up front and for things to kind of be revealed slowly and exciting. And I'm just not sure how to sort of navigate those different feelings. So I thought I'd just leave it to you. Maybe give me a pitch for why I should be configuring, because I feel like a lot of people aren't, and it would be really great if more people were configuring.
I think it comes down to personal preference for me. I think it's perfectly fine to leave them unconfigured until you've got that burst of inspiration about what you want to do. I had a few in my wallet, and then I was looking at them over a couple of days, thinking about what kind of team I wanted to make, and then I came up with the sort of silver cryptonaut idea. So I had to go out to the secondary market and buy a whole bunch of different ones, but I really wanted to make this silver cryptonaut team, and that's when I went in and started configuring them, because I wanted it to be something that I really liked, and I wanted to see out there on the football pitch a full team that had a sort of coherent flavor to it. We will do special things with traits, but just like over in the fluff world, all traits count. So I don't think there's a huge amount of value speculating on what traits are going to get what in the future, because we do like to make sure things are fair and everybody's sort of represented. So I wouldn't be too worried about configuring. If there's something that you really want to configure and you really like the look of it, just go for it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And
I'd add to that as well, just quickly. This is not like a contrived and predefined thing, right? And so the laws being created and built by the community at large, and just get creative with it. That would be my only add to that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I might expand on that a little bit. As you've seen with like the Plunger Gang, and our glorious leader Chasing Tails, and now popping up the Bomber Squad, those things that are coming from the community are going to get woven into what we're building. So go out there and create like interesting things and get people together, because those are the things that inform the storytelling as it evolves. So that's probably the biggest driver for configuring is go out there and come up with something interesting and add to the lore of Altered State Machine in the AFA universe. And we take that on and start bringing it into what we're building.
right, okay. I guess my only follow-up would be something I guess that's giving me a hesitancy is if every trait counts. I was kind of like, I guess, a little hesitant to like double up on some of my players from a certain like character trait, so that they had the same, I don't know, legs and arms, and I was thinking maybe it would make more sense to like have my players like all varied. I know I'm thinking maybe 2 steps ahead on this, but I guess are you able to like, does all traits count mean also like if someone has the same arms and legs, that might count? Because otherwise I'm just going to be like making sure every single one of my players have multiple traits on them.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the things like arms and legs go, and I'm not taking it off the table, but I don't have any immediate ideas around doing anything for those sorts of things. The traits that we've had sort of discussions around, with both internally and with the community, have been around things like accessories and things like the superheroine type or the zombie type,
Okay.
or so the family stuff. I'm a massive fan of the little psychic hands, though. So maybe in the future, if somebody has a brilliant idea around those, that would be awesome. But other than that, I don't think those little details. We don't have any immediate plans for those.
Yeah, and from a technical perspective,
that's
like
helpful.
there's no hurry. Like if you want to play the diversity game and get a massive spread and give yourself all the options, there's nothing wrong with that. But then we're also seeing people locking in like full sets. I know Carmen's got a ridiculous full set that she showed me the other day with all the colors, and that's like the other way to go, right? Just start locking in and claiming some stuff. So yeah, it's a strategy.
Space Cowboys.
Yeah.
Carmen Space Cowboys. They're dope.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate all those thoughts. I might go ahead and configure some of them and then leave some open.
Good plan. I like it.
Thanks so much, Cryptic.
Thank you.
Yo, Hornet, what's up? How are you doing? Nice to see you.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for bringing me up. I had a question about the brain, and then I had a couple questions about tokenomics. The first question on the brain, I'm looking at a brain right now. It's a globe. The brain's inside what looks like a globe, and it's full of fluid. There is snow in there. It looks like a snow globe. You have snow particles in there. If you look closely at the particles, they're moving not randomly, or actually they look like they're moving randomly and not moving with the flow of fluid. It almost looks like they're alive and swimming. What is up with the snow in the globe? Is it living organisms in there?
That's a great question, and not one that I was expecting. So the story behind that was they're kind of like particles that are energy particles that are floating around the brain. As a design philosophy, we've seen what else other people were doing with brains, and they were very they were all the sort of same flavor, where they got electricity going through like a little sort of brain unit thing, and they were all kind of the same as each other. So when we were coming up with the design philosophy for this, we wanted to do something unique that hadn't been done before, and representative of what the actual underlying data or DNA in that brain was. So that's where the idea for the brains came from. And those little details are little things we wanted to put in there to bring sort of more richness to the art of it. And those little energy particles floating around it was a really cool effect that we got in it sort of the last minute, that made it a lot more alive. And then the pulsating sort of lights around that go around it as well was something that really livened it up.
Okay, thank you. On tokenomics, on brain farming, ASTO staking, will there be a multiplier for brain production based on number of assets owned or any other criteria?
So the multiplier is how much ASTO you get airdropped. So every brain will be getting be able to claim their airdrop with every brain that you have, and that's kind of the multiplier. In addition to this, this might be alpha here. Fuck it, I'll say it. In addition to that, we will be doing airdrop for all stars as well.
Fantastic.
Am I allowed to say that? Am I going to get told off by Dan? Is Dan gonna tell me off now?
Okay, you're doing great, David. Let's keep going. One more question. Aaron mentioned either one or two ASMs back about when the characters. We all know now the characters themselves don't affect play. It's the brain that will affect the play in the game. But Aaron pointed out that the character rarity could determine a higher multiplier on what you win if you win a game. Could you discuss any more of that?
Yeah, so some of the mechanics around the game itself are being finalized now. We know that we want to do like special stadiums where you can say this is a assimilated versus zombie stadium, so you've got to have one of those in your team, and then the stadium owners can decide what like the prize pool is for that. So that's the thing that we're playing around with. Competition tiers as a piece of balance that's really important to get right, and I think we're going to evolve that alongside with you guys, getting feedback from the community about how the sort of matchmaking tiers work. But it is an evolving piece at the moment, and those are some things that are up for discussion.
Yeah, I'd add a little bit of color and detail to that, in that we're deep in the game design process, dealing with what that in-game item economy actually is and how that maps back to the rarity curve on Pay for All Stars. So I think the answer is like, yes, absolutely, that's happening, but we can't give you the full detail yet, because modeling that economy and getting that bang on is one of the most important things we have to do for you guys.
Okay. Thank you. I'll get back in the queue.
Awesome. Thanks for your questions.
Thanks, Hornet. Yo, Zapdart, welcome to the stage.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, they can.
Oh, awesome. Oh, I'm super excited. Obviously, love this community so much. So first question, I've been lucky enough to have a number of friends that have, also gotten into this project. But I've been talking to some of my newer friends that are maybe still exploring it. But, one question that I'm running into is a lot of them consider themselves maybe to be priced out with the current pricing of the brains, but they're interested in the project. And so from my own perspective, I think, the AFA All-Stars could be a great entry point, but they're curious about, buying a Gen 2 assets, whether it's the All-Stars or the brains, and whether there'll be, maybe Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, and how to understand if buying those Gen 2 assets and kind of waiting would be like a good idea for them.
Yeah, so if they want to participate in the ecosystem, you do need a brain, and this was kind of the design from the beginning, that Genesis brains were the premium brain asset, and they're there primarily to reward the people who have supported us from the beginning, the people who were on the Discord, got to participate in the initial minting event before we were known, and sort of blew up, and learnt about the project, and gone out and been ambassadors for the project. The real reward there is that they put all that effort and risk in up front, so their reward is the Genesis assets, which will always be premium assets in the Altered-State Machine ecosystem. But we don't want people to be priced out. We want as much participation as we can. So we have the idea of these second tier assets that will come in. There will be a higher supply, lower price points. There won't be any disadvantage to anyone in game to have those assets. They'll be just as capable at playing the games as Genesis assets, but won't have access to those premium features that the Genesis assets have. So there'll be plenty of that for people to come in, newcomers to come into the ecosystem, with the Gen 2 All Stars as well, when breeding is activated for those. The original Genesis All Stars will be the premium assets, just like the brains are, and we're going to need more than definitely more than 40,000 All Stars to have enough for people to actually enough people to play the game. So breeding is going to be really important on those going forward. They will be the seed assets for the community to actually play the game.
Okay, awesome. So just to kind of clarify, there won't be any additional, or at least planned right now, for there won't be any additional utility to Gen 2 assets compared to like a Gen 3 asset.
Not right now, but if so, one of the functions that the DAO can do is decide if any of the Genesis functionality that's given exclusively to Genesis brains ever migrates to other brains. I can make assumptions about the future where hereditary AI might migrate to a different tier of assets if the community agrees upon that. If there's enough demand, and we need to be able to produce more brains for that demand, that's something the DAO and you guys can vote on to allow. I kind of envision that happening at some point. That functionality begins to migrate down.
Yeah, I've also got a bunch of friends. I think we've all got friends in the same position, that are seeing what's going on. And what I'm telling them is, like, we're still super, super early. A group of people that I know that I told to get in on Mint and didn't really listen, I started talking about forming a DAO, and like the access to participation in the protocol that's coming up through the Genesis brains is considerable. And so, yeah, that's one option. People can group together and put a DAO around Genesis brains, and that's what I'm sort of telling those guys to think about.
Well, awesome. No, I appreciate that. And then one quick kind of question is just in regards to trading. I was just curious if you guys have any recommendations on how to do it securely, or if you guys had any expectations to have like a built-in feature in the future.
Maybe I'll just get you to clarify a little bit because it's quite broad. What exactly are you sort of looking for there?
Yeah, so in the Discord, you've got the section where it'll be like the Arium trade. And so obviously some people want to trade, fluffs or brains or characters, but I would say, maybe even just like characters, is that something where if someone had like a couple zombies that they wanted to trade for a couple of assimilated players, would that be something that you would envision? Or maybe there's something out there already that the community doesn't know about?
So this is
Yeah,
actually something that Carmen's been talking to me about as well, and asking for. So I personally have been considering how we might be able to facilitate trading of assets within the AFA dashboard. But I don't think we've got anything in the roadmap to enable that yet, but it has been discussed.
yeah, no, I'll jump in on that. And what we do have on the roadmap, and we'll probably include some features around this and enable these sort of marketplace features relatively early, is the concept of bundling. And this is something that people don't really twig that early. And you guys are all deep in this, so you all get this. But in terms of features, being able to take a brain and the form that has become kind of famous for playing as that brain, and to be able to bundle that with its stats from AFA so that it can then be put on the marketplace in the context of its performance and abilities in the game is on the roadmap, and that's coming up. And when we tackle that piece, we'll no doubt sort of start to touch on the stuff that you're looking for there. So yeah, just watch out for when those bits come in the sort of the GameFi stuff mid to late this year, when all that features start dropping around that, then yeah, and we'll reach out and get some feedback from community, and we're getting really good input from you guys on what you want to see, and we'll just make sure that we're catering for those use cases.
Okay, awesome, you guys. I appreciate it so much. Go Bomba Squad.
Bomba Squad represent.
Boom.
Are we on opposing sides, Carmen? I'm plunging hard.
Neutral. I'm neutral. I like that. We don't know if the foes or allies yet, do we? We don't know. It's yet to. The lore is being written, isn't it?
Waiting to see they'll attack.
Yeah, Chasing Tails and I were talking that it would be, obviously she's got the GIF where you take the plunger and it covers the fuse of the Bomba. And that's kind of one thing. But then if they ever were to team up, maybe you could stick the plunger to the Bomba and to throw the Bomba.
Yes. Love it.
Thanks so much, Zapdart.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
Yo.
I have been reviewing the white paper and specifically the section about the token allocation. And there's this nice pie chart that describes, the token allocations as well as a period of time over which they vest. And I was wondering, in what kind of category of that do the airdrops for the brains, the Genesis brains, and I guess also the AFA characters, since you just leaked that, fall under? And is that pie chart still up to date with the latest information?
So this pie chart, I can go through and sort of explain what each of those points are. So we have the play to earn rewards. So this is the tokens that will be used for in-game reward systems. Ecosystem development, which is to support new projects coming on, and to do things like token airdrops, and whatever the other things the DAO votes on. DAO reserve is for things that the DAO incentives that the DAO want to vote on. The yield farming and staking, that one's pretty obvious. Founders is for the Altered State Machine company. to distribute amongst its employees and shareholders. Advisors and partners are the advisors to the project, and early contributors is for the people like Delphi and Animoca and Polygon and Engine who invested in Altered State Machine in the beginning. So in reality, those sorts of rewards can come from so airdrop rewards can come from ecosystem development, potentially play to earn if it's in context of a game, and of course the DAO reserve is always there for any incentives that the DAO wants to vote on.
So to get a little further into that, so how much percent? Well, when the airdrops occur, which I think will be happening somewhat soon in the next, month. Well, I don't know exactly. You can tell me maybe. But like, how much percent of the overall fully diluted token, like token volume is that?
So we haven't released the exact figure yet, and we'll do it in a proper announcement. I think things like that deserve to be like done a bit more serious than some of the other stuff. Yeah.
Hold tight for the curves and the numbers, and you can actually like look at them on paper.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Max. This way up. Hey, what's up?
Oh, hello. How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm a bit surprised to actually get invited so quickly. But I suppose I have a statement and two questions. I had to quickly run over to join this AMA, and I'm just fascinated by what's actually happening in this space right now. And I'm just so glad to actually join it. I've been waiting 4 years for something like this to come along. But anyway, let's ask the really important questions. So I lean towards the tech side of things. So I've been trying to crawl my way around the tech side of the Unity and machine learning that you guys have sort of dropped along the route to lead to somewhere. And after 6 years of being away from it and I've coming back to it, I'm just curious about how open source will your technology be? Because you're clearly setting a bit of a roadmap, a bit of a platform for other people to work in this space, which is fantastic because it helps our ecology and helps other people to build really, really interesting stuff. So what is the timeline to build put something onto GitHub so people like myself can just hack away and build stuff? Or are you just trying to do a proof of concept before you move on to something else?
Yeah, no, great question. And essentially, open source is our ethos. We're building a protocol and a bunch of primitives and tools which we intend to make available for everybody to jump in and get creative and do what they want with. We have an open source pipeline where essentially things go through our private repos, come to maturity, and then we have to do the dev advocacy work and documentation work to make that actually consumable and in a useful form, and then it starts to drop down into our open source stuff down the pipe. At the moment, we're running hard to get what we're doing on the table and working for the community. So realistically, high quality open source libraries with documentation, and community around it to help out and maintain and push it forward is coming off the back of AFA. So the development of AFA and this whole process really does give us an awesome opportunity to just refine our ideas, refine our tools, bake out the platform, and put strong documentation and community around each one of these pieces to make them available to the wider community. So love it, but just hold your horses a little bit, because you can put out open source code, and if people can't really understand, get in, and rely on it, and help to evolve it as a community, then it just doesn't have the value that it needs. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely hear where you're coming from. I've been trying to work through the ML agents source code with on the Unity side of things, and I must admit, if any developers listen to this right now, it's not a particularly fun job because there's a few different versions, lots of crazy dependencies, and Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I do have one very specific technical question, though. Are you using ML Agent version 2 or 1? Because you started this last year, I'm guessing. But I've got a sense that you're using independent agents. Or maybe you're using the cooperative code on version 2.
Yeah, so I won't talk to the very specifics, but the team is across both, and we're working closely with the Unity guys there through the repos, and essentially we'll be, making the correct decision for the ecosystem, and hopefully be evolvable. I mean, if the Unity team there are doing things right and supporting us, then we should be able to have a nice evolution path through, and it wouldn't be a problem. But this company scaling, I'm further and further away from the keyboard as we start to, really get this thing crunching. So jump in the Discord and chat to some of the devs, because they'll tell you exactly what's what.
Oh, don't worry. I am definitely doing a bit of that.
Love it.
So,
and I just,
okay,
I just wanted to just maybe comment on that a little bit. So the Unity ML agents thing is really cool tool, and it's I think we're going to see a lot of use cases come out of that ecosystem, which is awesome. But we're not confined to that. We're using it. We've used it to aid in the development of the AFA game. But on the roadmap, we've got content that extends well beyond the Unity ML agents. I think Open Neural Network exchanges have great tools for reinforcement learning, but there is a whole bunch of other use cases that were going to require different types of machine learning models outside of reinforcement. So we plan on releasing tools to interact with our ecosystem that'll span a whole bunch of different use cases. The one rule that we have is that those tools also have to be open source.
Very nice.
So that's why it's Open Neural Network Exchange. We're not looking to do, to tie our communities to big closed sourced AI solutions that are behind a paywall that you guys can't actually own at the end of the day. The idea is that you need to own it. So if we do big massive models, then it'll be done under sort of a DAO structure where there is community ownership of that. And I think that's the way AI is going to evolve going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Just to add to that as well, when we talk about primitives and open source primitives, we're talking about them at the lowest level, and the composability of the ecosystem should allow people to introduce, new ways of doing things, new models, new types of AI, etc. But on top of that, we'll have layers and layers to provide open source tooling within these environments like Unity, where you do have this awesome framework that people have put together, where you can just compose some bits and pieces and get it working. But then the people that are working on the cutting, bleeding edge of these technologies should be able to go down the stack a bit, grab the primitives at the lower level, and be able to compose things and bring things into the ecosystem.
I have so many questions to follow up with this, but I will end with one very, very short question. So I may have missed this at the beginning. So who's Team Magic Plunger and who's Team Bomber in this gang right now? Because I need to make sure I'm on the right side of the coin.
So I am Team Magic Plunger all the way. Plunger gang.
The opposite side.
But I did discover, because Team Bomber Squad came after, and I do actually have in my main team a Bomber as well. So I might be closer to the fence than I was initially. Don't tell Chasing Tails.
That's a cop-out.
Traitor.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate all your answers, and carry on.
Thank you.
Cheers, dude. Awesome.
Cheers.
Hey, Milo Man. Welcome back.
Yeah, g'day team. Just got a question with regards to you get a brain, it's in a player, it's learnt the attributes of that player. If I take that brain out and put it in another player, I'm assuming it's going to have to learn the different attributes of that player. Is that correct?
That's a slight misconception of the way that this works. So brains have a genome matrix inside them, which you can think of as like DNA. It's immutable, and it defines its talent or abilities. And so you can plug a brain into any form, any all-star, and it's still got the same abilities. So a form is purely a visual representation of your player, and also a ticket to access certain areas of the AFA metaverse, and access to certain like items. But in terms of ability, your brain contains that.
Okay, but wouldn't the players have certain advantages based on what sort of arms they've got, or their body type, or anything like that? Or no, it's just all the brain?
It's actually just a form. And so the form itself doesn't affect the abilities. It's all in the brain and defined by the brain's genome matrix.
Not that you couldn't make a game in the AFA universe that did take advantage of the forms, different attributes, and I can think of 1,000 different games you could make around that, which would be really cool. So one thing to remember is that these characters are out there and you guys own them. If anybody wants to come along and make a game around that using the ASM protocol, you're completely free to do that. So I expect to see different little games and experiences pop up with utilizing the all-star character set.
Yeah, it's a good point. And one of the other things that I could bring into it as well is arenas are not all equal. And so brains, although the form doesn't affect it, the brains have to learn to play in the different arenas. And so that's sort of an interesting additional dimension to what you're talking about.
No worries. Thanks, Ed.
All good. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Milo Man.
Thanks.
Hey, Flipper Nutter.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
What's up, bro?
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Likewise.
It's really cool, guys. This entire ecosystem right now is just really cool. Everything that's happening, everything that's coming to life. I love AFA. I like the characters and the brains, but I also am just a really big fan of DeFi, and I'm really happy to see you guys take this DAO first approach to NFTs, because it's not, you don't see that very often. And then to bring in tokenomics and DeFi farming, and I was just gonna see if you guys could give a little bit of alpha on some of the tokens that will be used in the yield farming. I've seen in the universe videos they've released a little bit of alpha, I would say, about some tokens, but I was gonna see if we could get some actual confirmations from you guys about maybe some of the tokens that will be used to farm Asto. If you guys wanted to talk about that a little bit, maybe. I just love that kind of stuff, and I'm super hyped to see that in this NFT ecosystem that I'm equally as hyped about. And the Snoop Dogg stuff is really big news to me, but I came to crypto for DeFi and got a little lost in NFTs, but it's given me a lot of hope and joy to see you guys kind of push us back in that direction. So I just wanted to really say thank y'all for that, and I'm excited to hear what y'all have to say.
Cool. The way that we're rolling out the token is we're going to be using liquidity bootstrap auction. So we've worked with Delphi Digital on designing the tokenomics and 4RC for Altered State Machine. Those guys are pretty much the gold standard when it comes to this stuff. And we've settled on liquidity bootstrap auction. We're going to have a lot more resources around that at the moment. There is a research paper that Delphi have released around the mechanic that really goes quite deep into it. And we'll be doing our own series of altered education around the mechanic as well.
Essentially, the only thing I'd add there is we've got some really cool content that we've been working on. And so rather than sort of try and summarize everything and get the complexity of that down with my mouth, just watch the space, because real soon we've got some really solid content coming out. Nova's been working on that with us last week, and it's real good. So all will be clear pretty soon.
Yeah, can't wait to release it.
Well, that's cool. I guess I'll have to settle for that. I was hoping for like 1 token, but it's cool. I will definitely continue to watch this space. This is, I mean, I'm so hyped. So thank y'all very much for letting me speak.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so much,
Cheers.
Nutter. Atari God, it is now your turn.
Oh my god, I'm very happy to be here. Hello, family.
Hey, how you going, man?
Welcome.
Hey
Welcome.
guys, had to change my name. It was originally, I am an original minter from day one and was listening to every AMA, and I'm fully on board. Question for you guys. I know you're partnering and doing some stuff with XYZ, and I don't know if this is addressed in the white paper, but I want to make sure I have enough money because I'm buying every AFA character I can right now, and I want to make sure I have enough to stake for liquidity with my brains or whatnot. So do I need XYZ token or ETH, or do we know what I need so I don't run out of money?
So that kind of trails off the last question. So we're releasing the full details on that shortly, because liquidity bootstrap auctions are like a new mechanic.
Okay, yeah,
we want to make sure the information is really clear and concise, and we release it all at once. So we're being quite cautious about how we're doing this. I know when you drop little bits of information, things can get muddled. So I'm if you want to read up about the mechanic, we've dropped the Delphi research paper in the Settled World a couple of times, and I'll get someone to chuck it in there again. And you can get deep into how the actual mechanics works through that. If not, Lenny and Carmen have a video coming up about it soon.
All right, well, I just want to let you guys know I'm just going to I've already brought on probably 30 new holders to you guys, and I'm going to keep bringing them on because I love you guys. Thank you.
Wow.
Fucking go.
We love
Thanks,
you.
man.
Yep, and there's more coming because a good friend of mine just sold his business. So, yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, bye.
Yo, Trace Commas.
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes,
Yep.
you can. Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, big fan of this project. And I just, initially what really made it click for me when I learned about this project was learning about kind of the use case with chatbots and kind of digital twins and stuff like that. And just kind of out of curiosity, so I understand we'll be able to train in the gyms that are provided, the ASM gyms and everything that you guys provide. But is it possible to train our ML models on our own? And, if so, how and when? So, for example, if I wanted to have my own use case for it, am I able to train it in whatever ways that I see best?
Yeah, this is a really good question, and sort of comes back to the roadmap for the core protocol that I talk through quite often when I get sort of into the weeds with people. But the first phase of the ASM protocol rollout is centralized training. So at this point in the protocol, the training all happens on the back end of the execution environment. So one example would be AFA. So the answer is, at this phase, no, you can't do that. But the second phase is decentralized training and decentralized inference. And our research, like our Third Horizon focused research team, is deep in that at the moment, and is honestly the most exciting thing that I get to do on a day-to-day basis. So the answer is yes, and it's coming. We're right on the bleeding edge and doing some really interesting stuff across decentralized systems, cryptography, AI, and this is the stuff I'm most excited about. So it gets me hyped when people start bringing it up, because that's where the rubber really hits the road in terms of the impact of this protocol.
Yeah, for sure. And that's when you guys talk about, all these GPUs that are going to be in excess when ETH kind of migrates over and whatnot. So, okay. Yeah, I've definitely heard you guys talk about that, and that helps make it click in my head. But yeah, I appreciate it. That totally makes sense.
Awesome.
Awesome. Great question.
Thanks so much, Trace.
No, I don't know how to get off the stage here.
Yeah, it's okay. I can move you off. Don't worry.
All right, there we go. Appreciate it.
I got you. Yo, glitchy boy. Nice to see you.
Hello.
What's up, bro?
Hi, gang.
Yo.
Hi, Hal. Good to hear your voice on the call.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, amazing. I obviously everything's just been a bit of a whirlwind for you guys, I'm sure. And yeah, just congratulations on how everything's going. I've got loads of questions, but I won't take up too many time. I can jump back on later. But there's two quick one. Firstly, for David, who would you say is the greatest of all time across any sports? You know, any thoughts on that?
Someone's been picking up on something. You know what? If I did say, then that'll give away the farm, like 100%.
What sort of sports do you like watching? Or
he thinks I'm the greatest of all time, Phil.
Obviously. Well, even after your you sitting on the fence about the plungers and the bombers.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Okay. So you're neglecting. That's fine. You can. We'll keep that for later, Alpha.
I did. I have actually dropped the hint. So it's there if you want to find. It's obscure. I don't think anybody's going to find it, but I did drop.
They will hunt. They will.
Oh, we will now. We'll get chasing tails on that. Don't worry. We'll have that.
But I won't confirm it.
Okay, that's good.
2 weeks. I reckon 2 weeks is about when we're going to make the announcement.
Okay. We will. And then, so I just wanted to try and get some feeling, just in terms of more the law or how the team's thinking on how you're determining kind of not necessarily roles, but the different values and place for bosses, primes, and the superheroine primes, and how you kind of see those playing a piece in this in terms of the story, rather than we know all the forms are the same. But I just wondered if you had any kind of info on that.
Yeah, so I think one piece of information that people might have picked up on is that is this too leaky?
Yes.
Probably.
It is.
Well, for me, for little old me. No one else is listening.
You might have noticed some of the stadiums that have been leaked have a particular design aesthetic, which is really cool. Yeah. You might have noticed that in your own stadium, being the only stadium owner at the moment.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. That's really good.
Yeah, so that's not too leaky, right?
No, that's a little hint. So yeah, they're pretty cool designs, but specific sometimes. You know,
we have some awesome plans for the rare characters, bosses and primes. I think there's some speculation currently about what that special thing that bosses are going to have is, and not very much speculation on primes yet, which is interesting. So maybe I need to do one of my post 12 a.m. leaky sessions one night.
Yeah, it's because I suppose when I saw that, when you look at that big chart that the gang produced, that Carmen sent and put out to the community, it looked as kind of you've got the ring of the 19 main sort of characters, like player 1, player 2, etc., and then you've got the separate with the superheroine primes, and then you've also got the ring of 19, but for the bosses, as if the bosses kind of act for the primes and like they're part of their protectorate or something like that. Obviously, that's kind of where I thought everything was going, but obviously, like you say, there's been a bit of speculation.
And the stories of this is one of the most awesome things I love about this community and how it's evolving is the story and the lore is evolving day by day, and it's a collaborative effort. It's almost like a massive game of Dungeons and Dragons where we've kind of set up this backbone, and the community, you guys are contributing to the story as we go through. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, because I heard that the Plunger Gang get airdropped to Stadium. Is that? Can you confirm that?
that would be. I would get crucified for that being
That would
like
be
the
awesome.
biggest, one of the biggest Plunger Gang supporters. So
Well, you were until today when you talked about leaving the gang, and maybe obviously we'd always welcome you back with open arms. But
yeah. No, I'm never leaving. I'm leaving.
Okay, good. Right, one final one. I mentioned, so on the call last night, I think it was either the Twitter Spaces or the 11th hour, they talked about a fluff house at the end of the year in New Zealand. And I just happened to mention this to my wife, and then she picked the kids up, and then everyone's now planning a trip to Australia and New Zealand to come and be part of the New Year's Eve plans. So,
that's dope.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just something that Brooke was talking about that's actually not going to happen, but it looks like we're having our own mini party, even if it doesn't. So that's good to look forward to.
So I'm pretty sure it's happening. If not, we can have a simulated event.
Awesome.
Anyway, so we might as well. That's really cool. Yeah, I didn't know you were going to be dropping alpha.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Well, I've got, so obviously just into a few people talk about the brain, so just a very quick one on those. And so I think you probably saw that there was been some amazing work by some of the members in the group in terms of trying to analyze the brains that are out there, trying to create like a mapping with them and looking at sort of the different scores and heat maps and things like that. And I think one thing that was amazing about that whole how that developed is that was, instead of the community and the people involved doing that for their own personal gain, which obviously they could have done, analysed, picked off that what they considered to be the more valuable brains for, obviously, which is very subjective. They worked to make a tool that obviously they're going to release to the community to help everybody. And then obviously when the games are released and the stats can then be married to the brains and using that. And I just thought that was so, obviously continues to endear you to this community that they are wanting to do things for others instead of for themselves, which is really nice. I think the one thing that people are still kind of speculating on the brains or trying to understand are two things. One is the colors and whether they are just kind of make them pretty, which obviously they are stunning. And the other is the angle matrix. I just wondered if you could, just hint at anything with those two or describe what they mean.
First of all, I mean, I love this so much. I'm a little bit of a data nerd myself. That's what got me interested in machine learning. And just before this AMA, I sent Tanuki Ranch's video through to Howard and to show him the little tool that they made. I was like, dude, look at this, is so awesome. Because I just discovered it then. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I love that that was kind of my vision all along, is that people who are data nerds like me would get really deep into mechanics of how we built this, because we have put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into it to make it work the way that we wanted it to, and in a way that was going to be fun and fair and diverse. And the fact that people are digging into it now, even before the game is released, is just awesome. One thing I will say on the placement of stats on where they land on the genome matrix, that's something that we're going to draw on the community to make those decisions, because we don't want to be prescriptive about that. For reasons of fairness, that we don't want to be in a position where we've chosen something and it happens to favor brains that we have, or brains, a certain proportion of brains. So we'll be working with the community to make those decisions. So ultimately, it'll be your guys' decision where those things land. Which I'm looking forward to going through that process.
Yeah, that's really important to us. We're working through exactly how we want to do that now. But essentially, it'll be an event as the mappings get locked in. That'll be live in the community, engaging, and an interactive event where the mappings get defined. And that's super exciting. One little bit of nerdy alpha, and I don't know how much people already know about this, David, because I am kind of a little bit busy and I don't spend that much time on Discord. Got a couple of things I'm trying to do, but the angle matrix is about hereditary AI. And if people want to start digging into that, I don't know if people already know about that stuff, but
no, that is some big alpha for the data nerds.
for you nerdy peeps out there, you can go and start looking at that in the context of hereditary AI and some of the stuff we've dropped around the protocol. And there's a whole bunch of fun to be had there. So yeah, have fun with that.
That's amazing. And the color, you don't have to say what the colors do, but are the colors relevant, or they're just to make the brains look amazing?
They're currently not. Yeah, they don't drive or have any effect on the actual abilities. They're just to make them look amazing, I think. we do have the ability to put a layer over the top if we wanted to, but it's not in our current plans.
Cool. But I guess someone could build a brain that managed to look at those colors and use those as well if it wanted to, I suppose.
I have a use case for the colors, at least one in mind that is really cool. That I've got to get past hell at some point. But
okay, well, I've taken way too much time for a call. I know a lot of people are up late, but just a massive congratulations, like you said, to the new members of the family, the team, who actually get paid, and obviously for the promotion for Nova. That really, so everyone's everyone's really pleased in the community about your choices. Again, your master strokes, but cool. I'll let other people speak, but thank you so much, and obviously I'll start on the plans for the Airbnbs.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dodgy boy.
Bye.
Bye.
And hi everyone, is my microphone now working?
Oh, there you go.
Finally, there we go. It took me a while to find the right button, but very nice to meet you all. So I've been working on the rollout for the tokenomics. So that's the area I've been focusing on. And yeah, happy to help with any questions along those lines, but really glad to be here.
Maybe you just want to, sorry, Chasing Tails. Maybe you just want to give a little bit of introduction about who you are and what you do for Older State Machine, just so get the community familiar with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is data science. So, I guess over my career to date, I've probably built thousands of different models across different industries, participated in lots of open source competitions and done pretty well in those. I initially found this community through Fluff World, which I actually think is a lot of the route for a lot of people in the community. So, I kind of made the leap from a community member to someone who wanted to be on the team. And it's been, a really amazing experience so far. So what I've, been doing is bringing my data science experience. And then more recently, I've been focusing in on the tokenomics, which is an area I'm fascinated by and have just been going incredibly deep on. Super excited to be here.
Cool. It's great to have you on the team.
Hey, Plunger Queen.
How's everyone?
Very good. Good. How are you?
I was quickly sniping some All Stars with my mum when I heard that you were wavering on the Plunger Gang, which is a little concerning.
No. I just said I'm closer to the fence.
Right.
Then yeah. I'm not on the fence, just up next to it. So I'm in favor of a friendly culture between the two factions.
Yeah, we're friends with the Bombers at the moment.
Right, at the moment.
I've got a question for one of the community that they would like to know if there is an official partnership or if it's definitely confirmed in the pipeline that the Brains will work with Bored Ape Yacht Club.
I think this is probably one that I can't comment on personally because the person that's leading that is not me.
Yeah. Sorry.
Straight for the throat.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Sorry, Physio, I tried. And okay, another one that everyone's asking is with the Asto for All Stars, is that per All-Star, per team, and does rarity of All-Stars make any difference?
So
if you can.
It will be the current design is per All-Star, but the rarity is something that I personally haven't decided on yet. So without calling it right now, I would say that rarity might not matter.
Okay, thank you. And do you have an estimated timeline on Asto drop?
Yes. So this the tokenomics model that we've worked on is quite specific about what dates different things need to land on. So we have to line up our entire next 12 months roadmap with very specific events in the tokenomics, and we are probably in the last 95% of finalizing that now. Because things like the date of the game launch is important context for that. So the DAO instantiation will be this month, I believe, Hal.
Yeah, I can tell you from the coalface, essentially the actual engineering estimates will be in hand early next week for airdrop and whatnot. So yeah, we'll be putting dates against that real soon. And a bunch of the work's been done already, so it's not going to be like long at all. So yeah, just hold tight because it's literally about to get pumped through delivery.
Awesome. Can you just wait until after Burrows, because next week's a big week.
Oh yeah,
there's so much flying.
Yeah, that's true.
I've got one more question, if that's all right, if this time.
Yeah. Fire away.
Because I've got a few people contacting me now that want to get into this ecosystem, and someone brought it up before how brains are super expensive and stuff. Will people have the ability to spawn more All-Stars and sort of be in that part of the game of breeding essentially more players without having a brain?
Yes.
Awesome. My mum is sorted then.
Yeah, I don't see a benefit to linking the brain. If there is one, I'm sure somebody would have told me by now. But I think that should be a decoupled thing, because we don't know what the future is, how people are going to use these assets in the future, and that's one of the cool things about this space, is that they're your assets. You own these All-Stars, and you can do with them what you want. Somebody might come up with an amazing game around the All-Stars that need its own supply. That's kind of decoupled from the brains.
Yeah, AFA is an example where the actual, like, every player is a reinforcement learning model and therefore needs a brain to back it. But like, you might have noticed, the All-Stars are not football specific at all, and so you can imagine like a completely different game where you only have specific NPCs or specific roles that are backed by brains, and people can come and participate just with their All-Stars. This ecosystem is going to grow, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see what else we get. I'll sneak in one more. When you say there's stadiums, like we've talked about it before, the stadium specific for, say, zombie or assimilated and things like that, would that mean that the entire team needs to be, so you'd need 4 of that character or 4 of that family?
I think that will be locked in closer to the release of the stadiums. That requires some math to be run.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is like one of the core parts of the game design process that we're deep in at the moment. So yeah, all will come clear.
Awesome. And just so you know, David, I did see the hint that you put at 2 a.m. About the goat, but we'll just keep that on the down low.
If anyone was going to pick it up.
All right, I'll catch you guys later.
Thanks,
See ya.
Sales.
Hey, Dex Worker. Welcome to the stage.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going?
No.
It's going really well. I'm grateful to be up here with you and appreciate the work you've done so far.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So there are 2 things, right? One is a more expensive question, and the second will be more expensive. And this first question is more of an invitation that you can skip over if it's too much of a leak. something that comes up often in the Discord is fluffs as coaches and like the integration of fluffs in AFA. So I just wanted to hear what you felt comfortable saying at this point, or anything you were excited to say, and we could skip over if it's too much right now. Also the advantage of coached versus uncoached all-star teams.
Yeah, so that's a really cool possibility for expanding and showing the interoperability of the open metaverse space. And it's not just fluffs and thingies we want to bring into the AFA world. We want to expand that beyond even those two projects. And obviously they're going to be the first because of the close relationship between the two projects. The specifics will around how those mechanics will work will roll out with the game announcements. So I might hold off diving into that right now, but it's part of our overall vision for sure.
Okay, all right, thank you. And my next question is, we a lot of us here have a vision of how AFA might scale in terms of players and in terms of the technical side, but something I've wondered about is looking at fluffs and looking at thingies. They're just immense, and then there are so many people on both teams, right, that are sharing the work. Like I know, like you and Aaron, for example, David. So I wanted to ask those of you who are working on across AFA, fluffs, thingies, how do you plan to scale this as people? Like, how do you plan to stay healthy as the communities grow and the work grows, and the ideas grow and the possibilities grow?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the non-fungible labs team who run the fluff project, they've got their own fully distinct team, and the Alter-State machine, it is our own fully dedicated team as well. We collaborate and on basically everything and share ideas between our teams, but we're responsible. We kind of break it up into work streams that team members are responsible to focus on specifically. The scalability side is something is limited by the pool of talent that's out there at the moment. We've been fortunate enough that people really love our project, that getting really the best, honestly the best engineers and design staff in the world, and operation staff in the world, coming to the project, and really excited about working with us. So we've been super fortunate in that regard, that we've been able to scale so far to meet demand, but the landscape of opportunity that's being presented to us on a basically daily basis at the moment is massive, and we're only limited by how much we can scale and what time that takes us to do so.
Yeah, on the engineering side, like me and my core team, my leadership team, we're from a high growth startup background, so we're used to this. The growth curve is pretty steep, but the way that we're doing it is just optimism, right? Like we can see the future and it is way up that curve. And so we're just front running that thing and just getting top talent through the door early. And that's why we're able to do what we're going to do this year, because our team is shit hot and we've got more people coming down the pipeline. So yeah, optimism and just believing, and that belief was way deep back into last year, and we were building the engineering team and putting it together for, the most positive outcome. And here we are, and we're moving towards it. So yeah, it's exciting.
The scope of opportunity, I mean, I don't think I would be over exaggerating to say we've probably got, at least 100 opportunities that have we've been approached with for collaborations and content over the past since we launched. and we've just got to really sit down and think strategically about which of these opportunities are the ones we should go after. What is going to give the most value to our community? What's going to be the best showcase of the technology, and not just a surface level thing. So a lot of decision making goes into the process of choosing these opportunities that are coming up this year. So things like a major sports franchise, for example, that's something that fits really well with what we're developing at the moment. We've built out a sporting game AI engine that can apply across the board to a number of opportunities in that space. So those things like that are ones that we're going to focus on immediately. We've got some really cool music related opportunities on the board as well that we're, as a team, super passionate about it, and we know our community is. We've got a lot of passionate people about music in our community as well. So it'll be things like that we focus on, and not try and spread ourselves too thin. Focus on super high quality, high impact opportunities that we know we can execute on well.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the comprehensive answers and the honesty. Just a quick question because you mentioned it. When you say sports, have you imagined like AFA basketball, for example? Or are we primarily thinking about like sports teams or football team or soccer?
Yeah, without dropping AFA, yeah, we've had Alpha, we've had a lot of thinking about basketball and other sports.
All right. Yeah. So thanks again for your work, and thanks for doing this all with just ethics, right? That's something that really stands out with this team. So I appreciate the time, and I'm going to step down now.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I like that that's showing through some of those core values.
Thank you so much, Dex Worker. Hey, Bray Bebe, welcome to the stage. Just before you ask your question, I'm just going to let you guys know that we are coming up on time, so we will take these last two hands up and wrap it up.
Cool.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yo. So I just got into this project around Christmas, which I would say was a pretty good time. Obviously not the best, but really excited for this project, and starting to learn about how even the All-Stars have staking as well. So that begs me the question, should I open my Mythic box?
So I don't want to specifically tell people to do what to do with their assets,
right.
But you might get a boss, which is, or a prime. That's pretty badass. And B, you need to have your brain unboxed to claim your Asto token. So
okay, because
this isn't yours, but yeah.
I heard from different people that you could get the tokens through the box even if you didn't open it, so that isn't true.
So you'll get assigned your brain will get assigned the tokens, whether they're in the box or not. But to claim them, you need to unbox it, and we've done that to prevent people from claiming tokens with their boxes and then with their brains, and it just simplifies the whole contract.
Okay. Well, I mean, who wants to watch me open my box?
Live stream it.
I would see it. Yeah.
Also, do you guys plan on doing any collabs with any things like I don't know if you've heard of Chains NFT, or like any accessories that you can put on your All-Stars or anything like that?
So we do have some collabs, pretty exciting collabs, on the roadmap, sort of mid-year, that we're really excited about. not that one specifically, but we're open to these conversations.
Okay, great. Because if I don't know if you've heard of them, but you should check them out if you haven't, because
Awesome.
they
We'll
are
do.
all right. One of a kind. They will go on fluffs. They'll go on party bears, things like that. But I know I'm taking up too much time. So
No,
if anybody
that's really
wants
cool.
to watch me open my box, just let me know.
Yeah, that would be dope. If you live stream it, I'll watch for sure.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks so much, Bray. Hey, Tatum, welcome to the stage.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey,
Yeah.
how's everybody doing? First of all, I just wanted to thank everybody for the immense amount of work you guys put in, and I'm sure everybody in the community agrees.
Thank you.
Thanks,
So,
Sam.
as a digital marketer, I just had a couple of questions. Something I'm super fascinated about is marketing about the metaverse. Not only that, but marketing in the metaverse when that eventually comes. Once enough people are there and there's a lot of traffic going to these different environments. But for example, with PJ's stadium that he got airdropped, I'm just wondering in the future if there will be any capabilities for businesses or advertisers to reach out to some of these stadiums and put up their brand messaging or anything like that.
Yeah, so that's something that we've talked about from the beginning of the idea around stadiums, is that they could potentially be used for that, like stadiums are in the real world, used for that purpose. The awesome thing about the stadiums and one of the pieces of functionality that I want to see is being able to take your stadium, which is effectively a land asset, and put it into other metaverse spaces, like VR spaces or whatever it might be, and allow and games, and it'll make those spaces so much more interesting, and allow people to just come and view games that have been played out in your stadium as they happen in real time in VR, and that's a prime opportunity for mechanics like that, advertising mechanics like that. And I think that's one, if you go to some of these metaverse spaces, there's not a hell of a lot going on, and one of our missions is to bring life and bring NPCs into these spaces to make them more vibrant and interesting, and enable a whole bunch of really cool mechanics, like people can make quests and have NPCs interacting with the world, and making it a much more interesting space. And I think the first step to that is getting a stadium in there. And we've been in discussion with some upcoming and current metaverse spaces around enabling that as soon as we can.
Do you have an idea of how customizable you want the stadiums to be? Like, for example, I know the party bear scene has and Shar specifically, they're really involved in the music industry and doing stuff like that. I was wondering if it'd be possible if one of these musicians can reach out to somebody like PJ with the stadium and kind of have their music be played within the stadium, almost like a real life DJ in a stadium.
That is a fucking cool idea.
Love that.
Yeah, that's really dope.
But from a technical perspective, what we're doing with that and what the game team is doing gives you all of that freedom. They're essentially decoupling the entire engine from the visual representation in the same way that we do with brains and forms. And so the answer is yes, we can do cool shit like that for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think especially as the metaverse grows and companies see the viability of these spaces for advertising, becomes more and more likely that people would want to partner up with people within the AFA industry or whatever metaverse space and get their messaging out, whether it's for a project, a real life product, or their music. I think the opportunities are endless.
I think there's another opportunity for high performing AFA teams, and the team builder, you could build your team, and then potentially not potentially, but and give it a name and customize it in that way. There could be an opportunity for sponsorship for people with AFA teams that are doing really well, which I think is going to be interesting to explore.
Yeah, you could see how an owner of an AFA team is almost like a regular owner of a real football team, and such that they can go to their stadium, watch their team play, manage them, and make business decisions to run their business.
And this, I mean, all this stuff is really awesome, and this is one of the cool things about this space, is that we can develop out these things as we go along with the community. Like, you've come in here and sort of dropped a massive bomb of a idea on us, and I know how's mine is going at 1,000 miles an hour right now on that one. And this is going to be really awesome. The game will start small, and we'll have some really good bootstrapping functionality. But the fact that we get to evolve this with the community as it goes along, and you guys can come in and bring in these ideas, and we can build that out into the place that you all want it to be, is the thing that excites me the most.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Glad you guys can answer those questions, and I'm really excited for the next 10, 15 years for all of us.
Awesome. Thanks, Vo. We are too.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thanks, Tatum. So for our last question, King Anish, welcome to the stage.
Hey guys, thank you for having me on stage. I'll probably start off with just saying, I'll put my name there as King Anish, but I feel like Peasant Anish, just in terms of comparison to IQ. But just as a starting out comment, you guys need to be proud of what you've done. I consider myself a common man. I would have Googled what an NFT was in August last year, and I'm, on stage with the AMA crowd about to ask a few questions. So
You're gonna make it.
I'm gonna make it. So a couple of questions, just and I can't actually fathom that I'm asking this question because I don't know much about these things, but the gym mechanic that you've posted in that white paper that you've talked about, how does a common man get access, or common woman get access to being able to, what sort of hardware do you need? How does that all work? Because it says that you can earn Astro tokens, or that's what the reward is for hosting a gym. So are you able to talk to that? Just some of those that might have those questions, please.
Yeah, I can jump in, and this is similar to a question we had earlier today. But essentially, this is about the rollout phases of the core protocol. And phase one is centralized training. And so the training goes on in the back end of the actual execution environments, the games like AFA. And so the user experience for you as a AFA gamer is to interact with just a UI and send your brains off to train in particular environments and against particular opposition. Phase two is where we do decentralized training and inference, and that's the point at which the network spins up and people can host a node and bring capacity to the network for training. And that is in research at the moment. So not at this stage, down the road a little bit, phase two of the protocol.
Sure.
And to sort of answer your question, the way these things sort of roll out is the first versions are going to be, okay, you need a little bit of engineering knowledge to stand one up, and then as they roll out, then they get more and more abstracted to a point where there's a GUI and you just press a button, and you can use whatever computing power that you have at the time to contribute to the network. And that's kind of the vision for how to roll it out, is that you get the really engineering crew into it first, who can run the infrastructure and set that up, and we can work with on tweaking things. And then once it's refined, then you get the more abstracted versions.
There's a lot of depth and technical nuance there, and there's a lot of change from people bringing fully capable GPU backed rigs and nodes to the network, and people being able to just flick something on an app on their iPhone and rent their neural cores out to the network. There's a lot of nuance and technical depth to that progression, but that's sort of an idea of the vision.
And I just want to comment on, because you sort of brought it up a couple of times, the initial training infrastructure is going to be hosted by Altered State Machine and controlled by the DAO. But there's a couple of reasons we're doing that, is to allow us the breathing room to get the decentralized piece right and have it running smoothly. And also to make sure that we can scale things correctly when we launch the game. Being able to turn things up and down as we need to, and having control over that's going to be important for a smooth launch and a good user experience to people who are coming into the AFA universe.
A fully distributed and scalable intelligence mining cluster is analogous to the decentralized picture. So all the work's going on, and obviously the ownership, tradability is all decentralized. But the work that we're doing to put that distributed version of this that we will be hosting in the AFA backend actually is a lot of what needed to be done to then decentralize that across the network. This is like another 2-hour deep AMA. Maybe we should do a technical deep dive, because there's a lot of fun to be had here.
I think I got the gist of it. Is we let the experts roll it out first, and then roll it out to the peasants. If you can entertain me with just another quick question. In the fluff world, they talk about thingies having an ASM brain, and you talked about tokens being allocated to brains, if I've used the right term.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a view that holding a thingy with a ASM brain entitles you to an Asto drop?
So the Asto drop is going to Genesis brains only, and thingies are not Genesis brains.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's answered that pretty quick. Okay. No, that's good. No, that's clarity. And probably just on that same note, then talking about allocation of tokens, you talked about characters and brains. So you've got to unbox your brain, like the person before me was talking about. I'm thinking you've got to unbox your characters as well for the tokens to be allocated.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that one will be we'll release the details. I probably don't have enough time to go into the claim mechanics around that on this session.
Sure.
But the girls have got you guys on the altered education side.
Yeah, we've worked to lock that all in, and we're probably looking pretty soon over to be able to roll out all that info.
No, look, thanks a lot for having me, guys. I think my next Google search is going to be machine learning, or just figuring out what tokenomics is. All the best, and keep up the good work. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. I love it. Thanks, man.
Thanks so much, Anish.
Cheers.
All right, that wraps us up. Those are all our questions.
Thanks everyone. They were super cool questions today. And I forgot how awesome these AMAs are. I kind of missed them over the holiday break, so it'll be awesome to get into another regular cadence. We'll do an announcement around when the next one will be later in the week, I guess, Carmen.
We sure will. The next one, I think we'll be able to let you loose a bit on more of the alpha. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Actually, let's time it for after the announcements, so that we can really get into it, because I'm so excited to talk about them. So, let's time it for after that. I think that'll be good.
I'm proud of you, David. You did well today.
Thank you.
I know. Only one small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only a couple.
Only a couple.
Gotta give them something.
And huge shout outs. Thanks so much for joining us, Hal and John. It's amazing having you guys here every time. And we'd love to have you back more often.
I intend to be here more this year. So, looking forward to it.
Thanks, everyone.